Hello and welcome to the United Community Channel. My name is Jack and this is your match preview. Manchester United versus Fulham. The Premier League is back. Thank God. It's been a long few weeks over the summer without Manchester United playing competitive football. Alright, we know the Community Shield happened last weekend, but that was only a pre-season game, wasn't it? But really delighted to be back, guys. Plenty to get into in this match preview. We're going to talk about new signings and do they start. We're going to talk about the Rashford dilemma. We'll talk, of course, about the opposition, Fulham, as well. We'll give our predicted 11 and our score predictions. Please do smash a like on the video. Hit subscribe if you are new to the channel. And let's get right into it. So we're going to start with new signings and whether or not they should come directly into the team or not. Now, of course, look, we do know Lenny Yoro has got injured, so he's obviously not going to be included. We are talking about Joshua Zirkzee, but more importantly, we're talking about the other end of the field. We're talking about Matthijs de Ligt and Mazraoui as well. Now, at the time of recording this, we're yet to actually get the confirmation from Manchester United. We're after getting everything else. You know, the contracts are signed. They're doing a little bit of media work at the moment in terms of the pictures, social media, so on and so forth. And according to Fabrizio Romano, they will be available for the Fulham game on the weekend. So we're going to talk about whether they actually come directly into the team or not. Now, historically, Erik ten Hag has liked to drip feed new signings into the team. He doesn't bring them in straight away. The biggest one of note, of course, is Casemiro. Erik ten Hag's first two games as Manchester United manager, we lose quite embarrassingly. Casemiro then signs, and I don't think he starts for 4 games. So historically, Erik ten Hag hasn't liked to put new signings directly into the team until they're up to speed, whether that be fitness, whether that be, I suppose, tactically, whether they're up to speed or not with what Erik ten Hag wants. And look, we know about Joshua Zirkzee, and ten Hag spoke about him. He didn't play a minute against Man City in the Community Shield last weekend. Now, again, a lot of people looking into this could be for a number of different reasons. First and foremost, is he keeping him fresh for the start of the Premier League this weekend? Or secondly, is he not up to speed yet in terms of pre-season and so on and so forth? We do know he had a broken pre-season. He only came back to United last week. He's got probably about 9 or 10 days of training before the Fulham game. So obviously not up to speed. Now, and on the flip side of that, we're talking about probably playing a false 9 for the next few weeks by the looks of things, given the fact that Rasmus Højlund is out injured. And Bruno Fernandes played exceptionally well there against Manchester City last weekend. So does Joshua Zirkzee come straight into the team? I would be surprised if he does, to be quite honest with you. I think he will probably start on the bench for the opening few fixtures. He will get game time, I'm sure he will. But in terms of starting him, I don't think ten Hag will do so. Now, go to the other end of the field and let's talk a little bit about the defence. Let's talk about de Ligt first. Now, de Ligt is coming in, obviously, as the big name signing in that defence since Lenny Yoro got injured. And, we seen last weekend, we seen Harry Maguire and Johnny Evans start as our centre-backs with Lisandro Martinez playing at left-back. Now, we'll get on to left-back in a moment. So does de Ligt come straight into the team? I think it's quite possible that he does. I honestly believe that. We know ten Hag likes him. We know he's played for him before. So the transition into the new team for the likes of de Ligt, I don't think would be as severe as maybe Joshua Zirkzee, for example. Similarly, with Mazraoui at left back or right back, whichever one you decide, the full back area is an area of concern at the moment, given the fact that Luke Shaw is once again injured. I think this is probably the main reason why Mazraoui is coming in, is to provide adequate cover to both right and left back, because we know he can play both sides and we know Delort can play both sides. So I think if we're talking about the 3 players that have signed for Manchester United that are currently fit to play, I think Mazraoui is probably the most likely one to start on the weekend. But again, let's see what happens. I mean, ten Hag played Lisandro Martinez there. He looked a little bit out of sorts. He didn't really look up to the speed of the game either after his few weeks off. So maybe he needs a little bit more time to, reintegrate and get his fitness up and so on and so forth. It's going to be interesting. I'll get into my predicted 11 in a few minutes. But let me know what you guys think. Would you start any of them players? Would you start all of them players? Let me know in the comment section below. Now, next up, we're going to talk about the Rashford dilemma up front. We know Marcus Rashford had a very, very bad season last season. And this is a make or break season for him, in my opinion. I think a lot of the Manchester United fan base last season, I won't say turned against, well, there always are people that are going to turn against you, but we're getting quite frustrated with him and his lack of consistency. Going from a 30 goal a season, unbelievable season the year before to basically doing next to nothing last year. It was a massive drop off. Now, we know he's been inconsistent throughout the entirety of his career. So, on average, you would say he had a bad one last year. He's due a good one this year. Now, he looked sharp in pre-season. I won't lie. Absolutely, he looked sharp. However, you get 2 opportunities put in front of you against Manchester City on the weekend, and he should be scoring them. He really, really should. Now, I think if you stick with Marcus Rashford, because he's looked very sharp, he's looked on it in my opinion, I think given time, he will start putting them chances away. Absolutely, he will. I have no doubt about that. However, I don't think Erik ten Hag is in the position to, mollycoddle players through the first maybe 6 weeks of the season, when he's got players on the bench now that are ready to rock and roll. And we know who we're talking about here. We're talking about Ahmad and we're talking about Garnacho. Okay? Now, Garnacho, for a player who just came back a few days before the Community Shield, looked really, really sharp when he came on and got a really good goal. Now, he's young. Does he need as much time to get up to speed? Probably not. So, I think that's a big, big headache for Ten Hag. I think Garnacho, in that one half an hour spell against Manchester City, made a real stake for that left side. And we know Garnacho wants to play on that left side because he's more comfortable there. He likes cutting in on his right foot, but he does a good job on the right as well. Speaking about the right, Ahmad has been, I think, in my opinion, by far our best player in pre-season. I think he's looked very sharp. He's looked dangerous. He's constantly running at fullbacks, trying to cut in on that left foot. He was unlucky with a couple of opportunities against Man City on the weekend, and again made a real claim to grab that, right-hand side. We're already talking about people like Jadon Sancho and Antony being nowhere near, the question in terms of getting into any of them forward positions, and rightly so, because Garnacho has looked really good in that one cameo appearance, and Ahmad has been brilliant throughout pre-season. So again, I'll let you know my thoughts in our predicted 11 in a moment, but let me know what you guys would do. It's a big headache for Ten Hag to see who he picks in them wide areas. We do know he's probably going to go with a false 9. I think he pretty much nailed it on the head in pre-season that Rashford is not going to play through the middle. He likes playing on the left. That's where he's better playing. So it looks like a false 9 is what Ten Hag is going to set up like. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Who would you start in them wide areas? Now let's talk about Fulham, the opposition. And look, Fulham will always give you a decent game. And Manchester United have had a running battle with Fulham over the last couple of years, ever since that game in Old Trafford where Mitrovic completely blew a gasket, and we come back to beat them after I think being 2-0 down. They've got a good manager. Marco Silva, I do highly rate. Finished 13th in the Premier League last year, and they've had a pretty decent pre-season as well. They've played 4 games in pre-season, and they've won 3 of them. So they'll be coming into the game with quite a bit of confidence, you would say. Now, again, look, that's all I really know about Fulham at the moment. We don't have any stats to go on or form to go on when it comes to competitive games. But you will never get an easy game against Fulham. You hope that home advantage would, give Manchester United a big boost. First game of the season, you love to get the first game of the season at home. And we're talking about an 8 o'clock kickoff on Friday night under the lights. It'll be electric, the atmosphere. So I am expecting Manchester United to go out and get the job done. Again, I will say, and this goes for the vast majority of teams within the Premier League that you take on. You cannot underestimate them or take them for granted, because they will punish you if you allow them to do that. So United need to be on it. They need to be, raring to go from minute 1 to minute 90 and get the job done. Now, let's talk about predicted 11. And again, let me know your predicted 11 in the comment section below, guys. But I'll put mine up on the screen now. And again, people may agree, disagree with it. I've gone with this as my starting 11. Obviously, Andre Onana starts in goal. I've gone with a back 4 here. Now, again, this could drastically change, given personnel and who's actually available and so on. I've gone with Mazraoui, gone in at right back straight away. Now, he could easily go in at left back either. But I think given the situation we have at full back at the moment, I think he probably has to play. He really does. I don't want to see Lisandro Martinez play left back. I really don't. So I'm going with Mazraoui at right back. Delot switches over to left back. We know he can play there. And then I've gone for a centre-back partnership of Lisandro Martinez and Harry Maguire. Now, Harry Maguire was taken off from the Community Shield on the weekend. as what I think he was one of the first substitutes to come off. Is that Eric Ten Hag keeping him for this game on the weekend? You never know. Now, again, we didn't know how quickly Mazraoui and De Ligt were going to come in maybe last Saturday. Does De Ligt come in and come straight into that team? I think he can. Absolutely, I think he can. And I wouldn't be surprised if we see Martinez and De Ligt. Now, it could be De Ligt and Maguire. You would never know. We don't know what Martinez's fitness levels are like. He looked a little bit off the pace on the weekend against Manchester City. So I think that centre-back area is one that could change, and it's probably the most difficult part of the starting 11 to actually predict right. But again, let me know what you guys think. And I'd be okay with this defence. I really would. I think it's good enough to get a clean sheet and get the job done against Fulham. Moving on to midfield then, obviously Casemiro starts for me. I think he had a really good game, one of our best players against Manchester City. He wore the captain's armband as well, I think, didn't he? Oh no, sure, Bruno was playing, wasn't he? Maybe when Bruno went to, I can't remember anyway. But yeah, Casemiro plays 100%. Kobbie Mainoo, I think, comes into the team as well. Obviously, he did look a little bit off the pace against Man City, but he's got another week of training between now and then nearly. So, I mean, he's young, he's fit, he's probably raring to go as well. I think he'll start. And I'm going to go with Mason Mount in the number 10. I think he was a little bit sloppy against Manchester City in Wembley on the weekend. However, he did have a very good pre-season, and I was quite impressed with how sharp he was. His closing down, his pressing was really good, winning the ball high up the field. I think that's what we're going to need against a team like Fulham, and any team really, you would have to say. So I'm going to go with Mason Mount in the 10, and a lot of that reasoning is because we're going with Bruno Fernandes in that false 9 role. Okay, and look, like I said, he was one of our best players against Man City on the weekend, so I'm going to put Bruno Fernandes in that false 9. That does mean that Joshua Zirkzee doesn't get into the team, but again, look, like I said, there's going to be plenty of time for him to come in and make a name for himself. And look, I wouldn't be surprised if he gets minutes. I just don't think he'll start. And on the wide areas then, I've gone with obviously Garnacho on the left and Ahmad on the right. That means Marcus Rashford drops to the bench in my predicted 11. I just have a feeling Ten Hag will drop him. I don't know why. I think Garnacho coming in and scoring a goal and looking really lively against City. Ahmad obviously, pre-season was very good and played really well on the weekend as well. I think the two of them start. I think they are by far our two most dangerous wingers. I really do believe that. And we need them to score goals if they're going to continue to start. So that's my predicted 11, guys. Let me know yours in the comment section below. Do you agree, disagree? Let me know. And finally, score prediction. Now look, again, I've said it already. 8 o'clock kickoff, Friday night, first game of the Premier League season, under the lights at Old Trafford. If we can't get up for a game like this, pack it in, boys, and play badminton or something. Because this is what it's all about. I think United are going to be on it. I just have a feeling we're going to be absolutely on it. I think we'll have too much for Fulham. Again, I will reiterate, you don't underestimate your opposition, especially Fulham. They've been a danger to United over the last couple of years, and they've provided really stern challenges for us. But I think if we're on our game and we play the way we can play, and I don't want to keep saying this, if we can play the way we can play, we should get the result. We need to start turning that into, we are going to fucking steamroll this team. I do think we'll get the job done against Fulham. Score prediction is going to be 2-0 to Manchester United. I think we're going to get the job done. And I'm absolutely buzzing for the game, I have to say. Guys, we will be live for the game on Friday night as well, so make sure you're joining us. We'll be live from 7 o'clock for the watch-along on Friday night. First Premier League game back. Absolutely buzzing for it. Please do hit the like button if you haven't done so already. It helps the channel out an awful lot. And hit that subscribe button as well. As you can see up here in the top right corner, top left corner, we are very, very close to 11,000 subscribers. So please do hit that subscribe button. Turn on notifications. You'll get notified then as soon as we go live, and you can join us whenever we are. Thanks for watching, guys. Hope to see you on Friday night. Come on, the Reds, and I'll see you then. Take it easy.